What's up guys, so I'm here to give you a little different how-to video. I'm going to teach you how to bail. Bail is kind of turned into this generic thing for fall or slam. I mean actual bail. I mean like when you're away from your board and flying to the ground, how the best way to handle that situation is, because we get scared sometimes, you know? You try a trick and you're like, ah, and you throw your board away and you jump down, and if you keep doing that, it starts to hurt a lot. So I'm going to tell you some tips on how to endure it, okay? Casey's going to help film.
My pants are way too big on me.
That was the...
They are.
Now you all know that. Before I say anything, I'm going to tell you that it is always safer to stick your trick to the ground. Like to have your board solidly under your feet and stick it to the ground. You're a lot less likely to get hurt even if you hit and stick and fall to the ground than if you bail and you know, something else happens. That being said, I'm going to teach you how to bail. All right, the first thing I'm going to talk about is kicking your board away, okay? Because a lot of times you try a gap or you know whatever, and you just you got to bail your board because you're not having it. You get up into the air and you're scared right away. The most important thing is that you do not want to land back on your board, okay? If you kick frontwards, like if you kick your feet out that way, it'll sometimes go right under you, and if you land back on your board, it is so easy to slip out and your body's just not ready for it. Your head could be flying to the ground, you could land on your wrist weird, your ankle weird, it's just not good. So when I bail, I always kick it out behind me, especially with like a basic ollie. Like I just kind of kick my legs backwards and it usually shoots the board away from me, and I've really never landed back on my board just on a gap bail. So it's a safe way of doing it for me. Nothing is certain, you know, there could be somebody rolling by where it hits like their board and bounces back under you. So nothing is certain when you're bailing, okay? But you just got to do the right steps to like hopefully kick your board away and land and then roll. And I'll get to rolling in just a second, but I'm going to show you a few bails on me kicking my board away backwards. All right, that was perfect. I don't need to do that again. I kicked my board, it successfully went behind me, and then I hit and rolled, okay? That's the proper way to do it. If I were to extend my legs and shoot it out, there's a good chance of me landing on top of it, like I said, and you want to avoid that at all costs. A big way to prevent bailing in general, and kicking your board away like that, is being warmed up for it first. Don't just start off by skating a gap. Cruise around, do some flat ground tricks, do some grinds, do whatever, but have your body loosened up. If it's a really big gap, it's kind of hard to warm up for that, and I actually used to try to jump off small obstacles and actually feel a bail. So I would do this. I would jump and do a roll and my body would be warmed up. It just kind of like jump starts your body. It could potentially hurt, but if you know how to hit and roll and distribute like the impact on your body, it just makes it lessen up and it kind of just wakes you up. Unless the ground's rough or something, use your head and think about what you're doing. Don't jump into a bunch of broken glass. That'd be dumb. That'd be really dumb, okay? No one's gonna go to the prom with you. I mean, that's mean. Somebody would probably go to the prom with you, but just don't jump into glass, okay? But the next thing I want to talk about is rolling. Hitting the ground with just your feet, you're gonna get heel bruises, you could turn your ankle easier. It's just not good, okay? It's gonna hurt. So when I hit and roll, that kind of distributes the impact. So you hit your feet, but then you take some in the hip, and then you take some in the shoulder, and you just kind of make it happen a lot less. I've been skating for 17 years now, and I can still jump down gaps like this, so I'm doing something right. Another thing is that when you're falling and rolling, make sure you have your hand up to shield your face, okay? You don't roll on your face. That is pretty much any time in life. Don't use your face to soften the blow of anything. So put your arm in front of you, and it kind of just helps the whole process, and it kind of, you're literally like one of those bugs, okay? You freaking open up a rock, and the pill bugs that are around, okay, that would be awesome at bailing gaps, I'm just saying. If you're gonna bail, hit the ground and roll. It helps everything about it, about your body. Your body will thank you at the end of the night, and tomorrow. Maybe not Thursday. Thursdays are super weird. And when it comes to bailing, beware, okay? Your board is gonna get beat up so much faster, okay? It's gonna hit the ground just right on the tail or nose, and it'll chip easier. It's just not good for the board. So, I mean, like I said at the beginning of this, if you can not bail, stick your trick to the ground, it's better. Just all around for everybody. You're more likely to land the trick, and your body and your skateboard are going to be in better condition. But keep that in mind, okay? Don't be bummed if you bailed on a gap for like 30 straight minutes and you got chips and like scratchiness and dents in your board, because that is how, it's a piece of wood, okay? It's not a piece of like Captain America's armor. This thing is gonna get beat up. So keep that in mind. The more you skate gaps and bail, the quicker you're gonna go through decks. Another thing you wanna think about is if you kind of know that you're not gonna stick your trick and you're just kind of trying to get the hang of it and you jump down the gap, make sure you have enough speed, okay? The worst thing is landing back on the gap, because you can get your foot caught in something and then trip and fall down the gap face first. It's just not a good thing, okay? You don't wanna do that. Make sure you have enough speed. The more, the better. I mean, don't go insanely fast, but make sure you have more than enough to clear it, like not a doubt in your mind. And then as you start to stick your trick, you'll get a little better, like kind of guessing what speed you should have. But in general, I always like to skate faster toward a gap. Either it makes it's just easier to land for me, and then it's just more enjoyable. Okay, if you watch John Cardiel, he's a great example of this. If you're bailing too much, if you just keep jumping down the gap and landing on your feet over and over again, you are gonna wake up sore the next day and feel beat up. You're gonna feel like a train hit you and then threw you out of the train and get hit by a car. It's not fun. I've been there. I've like literally been at high school like shaking, like walking downstairs because I just skated too hard the day before and I didn't stick my tricks. So if you're bailing a lot on a gap, I would take a breather and kind of assess the situation, maybe go skate someone else and come back to it until you're brave enough, because a lot of these times you're just like, you're just too scared. You get up in the air and you're like, ah, every time. Keep that in mind. Do not over abuse yourself. I have actually had, most of my injuries are from me over abusing myself. So use your brain. Just an overview, or review, if you may, of everything I just talked about. First off, it's always safer to stick your trick. Get the board under your feet solid, and you're much better off. If you do bail, make sure you get that board away from you, okay? Like, kick it away from you. You do not want to land back on it. Avoid that at all costs. And then lastly, make sure you roll when you hit the ground, okay? Do not land flat-footed and just stand there, okay? I know it might feel cool. You might feel like a superhuman, but your feet do not. Your feet are gonna hate you. Hit the ground, roll, distribute pressure, and avoid hitting your face, okay? So hip and shoulder are really good spots to absorb impact. Watch with your hip. It might start to create a hip bruise, and that can happen, but you know, ideally you're gonna bail a few times and start sticking your trick, but just keep that in mind. Make sure you roll and distribute the impact. So there you guys go. I hope that helped you when you're jumping down to your doom. Here, I'm gonna give you a little montage of me doing some tricks and flippery stuff, down gaps, and then I'm gonna cut to Casey. Are you ready for it?
Sure.
I'm ready. I'm really ready. Oh, and this guy's channel's in the info. He helps film me a lot, and he's awesome.
I'm not doing a face this time.
Yeah, you gotta watch those faces, Casey.